Imagine the ground beneath your feet trembling, buildings around you collapsing, a city reduced to rubble within seconds. This is not a scene from a disaster movie, but a stark reality that many across the globe have faced and continue to face, the terrifying phenomenon we call earthquakes. The Earth's crust is a dynamic and ever-changing surface. Massive plates of rock constantly on the move slide past, collide, or pull apart from each other. When these movements are sudden and violent, they result in earthquakes, shaking the ground beneath us and sometimes altering the very landscape. As we journey back in time, we find an event that stands out in its sheer magnitude and devastation. The year is 1556. The place? Shanxi, China. The event? An earthquake of such severity that it remains the deadliest in recorded history. An estimated 830,000 lives were lost, a number so staggering it's difficult to comprehend. The Shanxi earthquake was not merely a random act of nature. Several factors contributed to its high death toll. During that period, many in Shanxi lived in yaodongs, artificial caves carved into the soft loess soil. While these dwellings were practical for everyday life, they became death traps during the earthquake, collapsing onto their inhabitants. Population density, too, played a significant role. Shanxi was heavily populated, and when the earth shook, it took with it an immense number of lives. The same earthquake in a less populated area might not have resulted in such a catastrophic loss of life. The Shanxi earthquake is a stark reminder of the power nature holds over us. It's a testament to the fact that while we may strive to understand and predict these natural disasters, we are ultimately at the mercy of the Earth's movements. The Shanxi earthquake, a catastrophic event that shook the world, demonstrated the immense power of nature. Now, envision the sea rising, swallowing entire cities, leaving nothing but devastation in its wake. Let's take a journey back to the day after Christmas, in the year 2004. A day that started like any other in the Indian Ocean region, but one that would soon be remembered for the catastrophe that unfolded. On this day, the sea did not just rise, it roared, it raged, it ravaged. A colossal undersea earthquake, with a magnitude of over 9 on the Richter scale, erupted off the coast of Sumatra. The seabed was violently displaced, and an immense energy was unleashed. This energy traveled across the ocean at jet speed, creating a series of devastating waves, a tsunami. This was no ordinary wave. It was a wall of water reaching the height of a multi-story building, moving at the speed of a commercial jet. It struck with such force that entire towns were obliterated in seconds. The 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami was one of the deadliest in history. The death toll was staggering, reaching over 230,000 people. It affected 14 countries, from Indonesia to Thailand, from Sri Lanka to the Maldives, from India to Somalia. In its wake, the tsunami left a path of widespread destruction. Homes, schools, hospitals, entire communities were reduced to debris. The landscape was changed forever. Families were torn apart, lives were lost, dreams were shattered. In the aftermath, the world came together to provide aid, to heal, to rebuild. But the scars left by the tsunami are still visible today. They are a stark reminder of the sea's destructive capacity, of its power to alter landscapes and lives in a matter of minutes. We often marvel at the sea for its beauty, its serenity, its vastness. But on that fateful day in 2004, it showed us its other face, its fury, its might, its devastation. With the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami, the world witnessed the sea's destructive capacity, leaving countless lives forever altered. Picture the sky ablaze, a fiery inferno descending upon the land, consuming everything in its path. It's a vision that seems too catastrophic to be real. But just over a century ago, in the summer of 1910, this terrifying spectacle was a reality. This was the time of the Great Fire of 1910, a wildfire of such a colossal scale that it altered the very fabric of the American West. The Great Fire of 1910, often referred to as the Big Burn, was a wildfire that swept across the states of Washington, Idaho, and Montana. Fueled by strong winds and a particularly dry summer, the fire was a monstrous force, burning over 3 million acres of land. That's roughly the size of Connecticut. Imagine, if you will, a wall of flames stretching as far as the eye can see, reaching up to the sky, devouring everything in its path. Forests, wildlife, and homes were reduced to ash and rubble within hours. The fire was so intense that it created its own weather, with cyclonic winds hurling embers miles ahead, sparking new fires and adding fuel to the inferno. The human toll was equally devastating, with a loss of life that still haunts the region. The fire claimed the lives of 87 people, most of them firefighters who bravely battled the blaze. This tragic event led to significant changes in fire management and forest policy in the United States, shaping the future of the American Forestry Service. But the fire's impact extended beyond the immediate loss of life and property. The ecological damage was profound, transforming lush forests into barren landscapes, altering habitats and disrupting ecosystems for decades to come. The scars of this disaster are still visible today, a stark reminder of the devastating power of uncontrolled fires. The Great Fire of 1910, a blazing testament to the uncontrollable force of nature, left a permanent scar on the American landscape. It stands as a stark reminder of the devastating consequences when the skies ignite and nature's fury is unleashed. Imagine the wind howling, tearing through towns, turning homes into piles of debris within minutes. Now, let's take a journey back in time to the year 1970, to the shores of East Pakistan, known today as Bangladesh and West Bengal, India. This is the year when the world witnessed the deadliest tropical cyclone on record. The Bola cyclone, as it came to be known, was not just another storm. It was a catastrophe of unimaginable proportions, a tempest that claimed the lives of up to 500,000 people. It was a disaster that struck with no warning, leaving in its wake a path of destruction that still resonates in the annals of history. The cyclone was a force of nature that showed no mercy. It tore through the landscape, obliterating everything in its path. Homes, schools, bridges, entire towns were reduced to rubble within minutes. The ferocious winds, accompanied by torrential rains and a devastating storm surge, left no stone unturned. But what made the Bola cyclone particularly devastating was not just its sheer magnitude. It was the fact that it struck one of the most densely populated regions on Earth. The death toll was staggering, with entire families wiped out in an instant. The suffering was immense, the loss of life heartbreaking. In the aftermath, the region was left in ruins. The infrastructure was decimated, the economy shattered. It took years, even decades, for the region to recover. And yet the memory of the Bola cyclone lives on, a grim reminder of the devastating power of nature. The 1970 Bola cyclone, a tempestuous disaster, showcased the terrifying power of the wind, leaving a nation in ruins. It served as a stark reminder that even in the face of human progress and technological advancements, we remain at the mercy of nature's unpredictable and often destructive forces. From the trembling earth to the engulfing seas, the igniting skies to the destructive winds, nature's fury knows no bounds. Just as the earth trembles beneath our feet, causing havoc and devastation, so too do the seas rise and engulf the land, swallowing entire cities in their wake. The skies ignite with fire, raining down destruction from above, and the winds whip up into a frenzy, wreaking havoc wherever they touch. These are not merely hypothetical scenarios or the stuff of disaster movies. They are real, tangible expressions of nature's immense power, and they have happened before. Tremors that shake the very foundations of our world, tsunamis that wash away everything in their path, wildfires that turn landscapes into infernos, and hurricanes that flatten entire communities. Yet, despite the enormity of these disasters, humanity continues to persevere. We learn from each event, adapting and evolving, building resilience in the face of adversity. We develop new technologies and methodologies to predict these events, to give us a fighting chance against the unstoppable force of nature. We construct buildings to withstand earthquakes, engineer seawalls to hold back the tide, manage forests to prevent wildfires, and design infrastructure to resist the strongest winds. But preparedness is only one part of the equation. To truly mitigate the impacts of these disasters, we must also strive to understand and respect the natural world. We must recognize the role we play in exacerbating some of these events and take responsibility for our actions. We must work towards creating a balance, a harmony with nature, rather than attempting to conquer or control it. As we stand in awe of nature's power, let us remember the lessons these disasters have taught us. and strive to build a safer, more resilient world. For in the face of nature's fury, our greatest strength lies not in our ability to withstand, but in our capacity to adapt, to learn, and to grow.